Hello everybody. In this little video I just want to show you how to do a basic colour chart for a subject that you may or may not want to paint, or maybe wanting to paint I should say. This colour chart is specifically for painting some horse chestnuts. Here's the painting that I did. There's the horse chestnut, there's the shell. They're slightly larger than life. Unfortunately the actual horse chestnuts have gone out in the bin now, so I can't show you those, but what's interesting is the number of colours that you can use, and making a colour chart is quite a good way of working out how many colours you've got available to you just from using a very limited palette. It's a really good idea to get used to using a limited palette. So the colours that I've chosen to use, and you could put bits of other colours in here, are French ultramarine blue, burnt umber, alizarin crimson, and burnt sienna, which is here. And those colours, when you put them on a piece of watercolour paper, if I just show you on here, look like this, because it can be quite hard to see what they look like. So that's alizarin crimson, this is burnt umber, nice earthy brown, this is burnt sienna, which has got a very definite orange tint, and this is French ultramarine blue. If you want to intensify a colour, just put more of the same colour on top. You don't have to add anything to it, just more of the same colour on the top. With watercolour it takes its translucency down, and obviously the translucency is the thing that makes it very light. So those are the colours I'm using. So I'm going to start off. These are very simple colour charts. You can make them as much more complicated than this. You want a set of 5 by 5. You want a matrix, 5 by 5 matrix. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason that I make them 5 by 5 is it means that we've got a centre box. You can make them any number you want, but if you make it an odd number, then you always get a centre point. So in this corner here, we start with putting our French ultramarine blue. Here we are. And this chart that I'm doing is for burnt umber. So in that corner there, make sure you clean off your brush between each of these. I'm putting burnt umber. And in the middle one, mix it up in the middle, I'm going to put burnt umber, wiping off my brush so I don't contaminate it, and blue. So in that one, we've got burnt umber and blue. Can you see what a lovely dark brown that makes? It's much a nicer colour than if you were to add black. Very, very useful combination of mixes this is. So in this one here, now that's the middle one, so I'm going to just drag a bit of that to one side because I'm going to use the other half, the other side of it. And this one I'm going to put another dollop of blue, so that's going to that side because it's more blue, if you get what I mean. And in this side here, clean off the brush. Again, I'm going to use the centre mix and I'm going to put more burnt sienna in it. So it's more blue than that, but less blue than that. And that's basically how you do them, and you can have them in as many forms as you like. So then as you come down colour chart, all you want to do is add a bit more water. Now if you're cheat like me, you can just dip your brush, your loaded brush with the colour. I've got it loaded with that colour and I've just dipped it into my water container. So I'm just adding more water because that's basically, so you're coming down so that they're nice and light. When you get to the bottom, you want it to be really quite light. If it looks a bit heavy, like that one looks a bit heavy to me, I'm just going to take a bit off. Take a bit off with your brush. There you go. You want to have it coming lighter as you go down. Do the same with the burnt umber. So a bit of the paint, a bit more water to paint ratio so that it's lighter. Remember, watercolour always dries lighter. There we go. That's why it's useful to mix the colours up in different palettes like I've got here. So as you come down, as you go across, so there's that one. So this one here is that one, isn't it? So I'll just start with that one first. So a bit more water in it so that it's nice, lighter than the top one. Bit more water. You can fiddle it a bit if you want to. I just want you to get the idea. Bit more water so we get these really nice greys. Come in here, and then this one, it's difficult to know as with all watercolour, it's when you have to put it on the paper. I'm deliberately not going right up to the one next to it, otherwise it will be running together. They're good practice, these. They're also good practice for your paintbrush technique and definitely for your mixing. So never think, oh, I can't be bothered to make one of these. So, and the same with the blue. Now I think I probably contaminated that blue. If you look at it, I've got a bit of brown coming into it. It's not as clear blue as the top. Don't worry about that. So you can sort of see the number of colours or variations of colours. These become very, very useful when you're doing skin tones. So I'm going to put that one up there, and I'm going to do, the next one I'm going to do is the same thing, but I'm going to use French ultramarine blue the same. I'm going to put this one down. Well, I'm thinking it might be my water actually, because my water's filthy. If you've got dirty water, it will colour your paint. And I'm going to do my blues down here before I... So this one is going to be blue and burnt sienna, which is the more orangey colour. So lighten it as it comes down with the water. And then we want, clean off your brush. This is burnt sienna. So you can see that burnt sienna is much more orangey. Let me do that one down. And there. And then we're just going to put, I'm just going to put the middle one in, and I'm going to let you do the other two. You'll have to give me 5 minutes. So I'm just going to mix it in here. So there we go. So that's the middle one there. And that one gets weaker as it goes down too. So you can see that you can get the idea of what I'm doing. I'm making these colour charts, but you get to see all the different varieties that you can pick up here. If we did burnt sienna and I haven't done that thing, alizarin crimson, that's alizarin. So one in the middle of those two would be this sort of colour. So that's another one that you might want to think about for if you were doing conkers. So you can see that you just get all these lovely sort of murky colours coming in. They're brilliant for skies, French ultramarine blue and burnt umber. So make yourself up some colour chart, find something that you can draw. You could copy my conker if you want. I'm just going to show you how to just take out. So that's just a very quick drawing. So you might want to, I need a bigger brush. You might want to start your conker with a very nice glaze of burnt sienna. You can mix on your paper, or you can mix that. You might want to pop in some of that alizarin mix that we had here and burnt sienna. You might want to put in some of these darker mixes over here where it's going down the bottom. Or you might want to use one of these very light mixes here for popping in a little bit of detail on the top here. Light mix. And you might want to do your shadow in something like one of these ones over here. So with more blue. There you go. So that's just a simple way of doing the conker, making up these colour charts. Hopefully that's helpful. See you next week. Bye.